Welcome back to the Angels here on MLB The Show 25. And as you can see, we are here at the start of the 2027 postseason. And there is no Angels in it once again because of our shitty season. 78 and 84. Just could not ever put it together at any point whatsoever. I'm going to keep saying it, and it still makes no sense to me. I don't understand how this lineup wins 78 games. I've never had this much issue putting together a good team that actually performs well in MLB The Show. I don't know if it's because the Angels are just cursed or what, but I don't know. It's been rough. We cannot break through, and like I talked about at the end of last episode, it's not like we have anything like opening up for improvement. Like as far as this lineup, basically all these positions are going to be the same, except for Urias won't be on the team, so this will be Neto, and Kim will be shortstop, and Wade is no longer going to be on the team, so that'll be on Hello Manuel. And those are the only changes. Everything else is locked in place long term. Even with the rotation 1 through 5 is locked in place. We're going to be losing a couple of our good relievers in Kevin Ginkel and Camilo Doval if we don't decide to re-sign them. So I don't know. I don't know how this team is supposed to get better on paper. If we have back-to-back seasons like this, where on paper we should be like at least decent, at least competing for like a second. Like, we should be in the playoffs. I feel like this team is easily good enough to win like 80, 90 games in a season, at least from what I look at on paper. And they just don't. They don't ever do it. So I don't know if we need to like totally like restructure something here and like just try to trade somebody on like a big contract to like the Yankees or something and just kind of like salary dump somebody just so we can like open up a spot and like reset the vibes or something. But I don't know. I feel like anything is on the table, but I also feel like we could just go into the offseason and then just do nothing, like I said, and just have Manuel be our first baseman, Kim and Neto be the left side of our infield, and we just go into next year with maybe like a bullpen guy, and I don't know. I don't know what else we would add to the team. But just going through how our players performed on the offensive side of things, this is sorted by ABs, so Nolan Shawnuel, most ABs on the team, and by far the best overall hitter. An 874 OPS for him, a ton of walks, less than 100 strikeouts. He puts together a 26 home run, 100 ribbies, and 52 doubles for Nolan Shawnuel. He is just green pluses everywhere, folks. Nolan Shawnuel is an incredible player for us. He continues to get better. Last year he had a bit of a down year towards the end of the season, but still was an 800 OPS. I mean, he's fantastic. He's wonderful. He's our best hitter. Zach Neto continues to just be very, very disappointing. Puts up decent counting stats with the 25 home runs and 80 ribbies. But you look at his profile, and now all of a sudden he's like Trout, where Trout used to be really good against lefties. Neto, on paper, the 80-79 is still good against lefties, but it used to be way higher. He was horrible this year. I mean, there's no other way to put it. He was just bad. So that's more seasons of him with a sub 700 OPS. And even last year, it's not like a 749 is like particularly impressive for a guy you want to be like a cornerstone for you, especially a guy to play a corner infield position for us. So maybe Neto is a guy we'd look to possibly dump to like the Dodgers or Yankees or somebody who could afford a contract like this, because he's just not working out, man. And then there's Logan O'Hoppe, who was like up and down the whole season, coming off a year last year where he was one of our better hitters with an 826 OPS. This year looked more like the first season where his OBP dropped a ton, had a similar slugging and average. So like, is he this guy or is he 2026 guy? It's looking more so like he's the 2027 guy, which I guess isn't the end of the world. Has some decent counting stats. As a good catcher, a good defensive catcher, at least in this universe. I know in real life he's not so much. But in this, same thing with him, where he's a right-handed bat now who's -5 in both his contact and power against lefties. I mean, just terrible stuff. Not great at all. And then Brandon Lau, we've got him. We're going to have him for another full 2 seasons if we don't trade him away at some point. But we've got him at least for next season. That's the plan. 27 home runs for him between us and the Angels. I think he had like 20 or maybe 19 or something like that when we traded. I think it was like maybe 22 when we traded for him. So in all of August and September, he puts together just a couple more. I mean, just brutal stuff. I mean, we're just cursed. What can you say? Mike Trout, we've talked about him. His OPS, first time in his career, it's below 800 rather. I mean, the ratings just look terrible. They are not good, and they're going to get significantly worse next year because he's starting to get hit by that MLB The Show regression. I mean, I just gotta say, I have never, ever seen a minus double digits like that. That's almost minus 20. That's closer to minus 20 than it is minus 10, obviously. I've never seen a minus or a plus that high unless it's me manually editing the stats. And that is not what happened here. He just had such a horrific season with the bat that he had like a Mookie Betts regression, like in real life with his juice. He just has no juice in his bat anymore. It's absurd. And to remind everyone, we still have this guy for 3 more seasons at $35.5 million. Wenzel Perez, we bring him in the offseason. Thought maybe there was some upside with his bat. Turns out everything is going to go down, and he's just going to put together another horrible season offensively. Although I guess it was better this year than it was with the Detroit past 2 seasons. But he did have like a little month stretch where he was pretty good, but overall still not exactly intriguing. I'm kind of leaning towards having Simpson be the starting center fielder full-time next year and have Perez as like the backup center fielder / utility guy. Lamont Wade did his thing where he gets on base, has a decent average, only hit 17 home runs though, which is kind of disappointing for a guy who played. I mean, he was a platoon guy, but I mean, he played the whole season. I mean, he should be hitting more than 17 home runs. I feel like he's got 77 power versus righties. He was good though. He was good. We won't complain too much about Lamont Wade, a guy with an 800 OPS and a team that can't do anything. Ha-Seong Kim, just terrible. Puts together 2 seasons of very, very, very solid offensive, especially in 2026. An 800 OPS, 750 the year before, 30 swipe bags that first year, 23 home runs the last season, and 36 doubles both years. And now this season, he's just, the power numbers go down, everything goes down. And he just was not good. He was all defense, no offense with a 2.5 WAR. Reggie Coffey, in his first stint in the big leagues, gets 345 ABs, finishes with 12 home runs and 10 doubles. Solid enough. Hopefully with a full season, he puts together a better than 718 OPS, because we're going to need him to do something better than that. He was going up across the board. Those numbers, these ratings should not result in a full season of a 700, low 700 OPS. So if he does again, while also improving, I don't know what to tell you other than the game hates me. And then Luis Arias, who we were playing at third base down the stretch because he was just our best bat on the team essentially down the stretch, 899 OPS. Where was that last season? We started him the entire year last year. He had a 686 OPS, refused to do anything offensively except against left-handed pitching, and then this year it didn't matter who he was playing against. He was just insane. I mean, he gets a +7 to his contact versus righties with a +3 against his lefties. I don't know. Do we think about bringing this guy back and trading away Neto? Is that something we're thinking about doing? And then I'm sure if I did that, he would just immediately regress back to what he was in 2026 and be a not good hitter. Chandler Simpson was not good, but he also had a very, very limited sample size. And, he's another guy with, you look at his ratings, you're like, why would I think that this guy's ever not going to be able to not be a solid player? Curtis Mead, as a platoon guy against left-handed pitching, he was fine, I guess. And then Cooper Ingle barely ever played as the backup catcher once we got rid of Campero. While on the defensive pitching side of things, sorted by innings pitched here, we actually did have 3 solid starting pitchers for us this season. Shane McClanahan had a 3.4 ERA and a sub-4 FIP to go along with the home run rate that dropped from last season. 200 innings for him, that's ace-type stuff right there. 3 WAR, we will take that from McClanahan. The pitching, I don't think, was the problem this year. I don't think it was at all. It was the offense just does nothing despite us having actual good players. So McClanahan, he was good. Caden Dana, not as good as he was last year. Got a bit unlucky with the ERA, but still good enough. And then Reed Detmers puts together a 3.5 WAR after a season where he was abysmal in 2026 with a 5.4 ERA and a 4.69 FIP. This year he puts together a 3.5 WAR, which is the highest in his entire Major League career. And we have him for 1 more season and he's somebody who's going to want a pretty penny to be extended, so this is probably going to be, entering next season, the last year of Reed Detmers here in Anaheim. And then George Klassen continues to struggle, not really be what we want him to be. 82 overall, high B potential. It just has not put it all together yet. He was like okay-ish last year in 32 starts with a 4.4 ERA and a 4.3 FIP, 1.8 WAR. This year he was worse than that. His home run rate goes up. His FIP goes up. His ERA goes up. I don't know. He just was not great. Kevin Ginkel was good in the bullpen at 85 innings. I don't know why he threw 85 innings in 67 games, but sure, Kevin Ginkel was solid. Camilo Doval was really good. He went up to, or I shouldn't say he was really good. His ERA got up to almost 4, and his FIP is a 3.6. So he was solid, but he definitely, towards the end, had some bad performances. But he does have 101 strikeouts in 77 innings pitched, and he got himself up to an A potential. So if we decide to bring him back, he is going to be requiring a pretty penny to bring back as a bullpen guy. Because of that, maybe we QO him, depending on what he wants. I'm not really sure, but we might theoretically QO him, and if he accepts that, he accepts it. If he doesn't, then cool, we get a draft pick, which, based on what we did in the draft this year, not exactly confident in my abilities to do that either. Andres Rivera, very limited sample size, 74, and not very limited, but, wasn't a full season, 74 and a third innings pitched. He was fine-ish for a guy making his first stint in the big leagues at age 20. I expect him to be a good pitcher for us long-term. Hopefully this durability can continue to go up and we don't have to deal with double shoulder tears throughout a season. Jack Kahanowitz was not good in his limited time. I don't know why the game automatically called him back up, considering I did not do that. Ben Joyce, he was good in the bullpen, very good, honestly. 65 Ks and 60 2/3 innings. He puts together 44 saves, only 6 blown. That's a significant improvement from his last 2 seasons, especially 2025, where he was really not great at all. But yeah, even last year at the 5 ERA, but I think it was a bit unlucky. Yeah, he had a 3.7 FIP last year with a 5 ERA, but this year, a low 3 FIP and a sub-3 ERA. One of the better closers in baseball this season, I'd have to imagine. Ryan Johnson, he was really good in the bullpen for us. His strikeout numbers were really good this year, 10.7 K per 9. Sam Bachman was really good in a low leverage, and then towards the end of the season, a more medium, like middle reliever role, sub-2 ERA, or sub-3 FIP and a sub-3 ERA, almost a 1 ERA, a 2.03 ERA. Kikuchi was really good, a sub-2 ERA, but the thing about him, expiring contract, 35 years old, going to be going on his age 36 season as an aging reliever. Not going to be bringing him back, but his $18.2 million is coming off the books for us. So that's another reliever that we're going to be losing this season, him, Ginkel, and Doval. Soriano was overall good, but I feel like definitely could have been better. Only got 35 and a third inning, or 35 innings total, and like I said, could have been better, but he was fine-ish, I guess. He's another guy who we only have 1 more year of, so we might have to look to trade him, get rid of him at some point, maybe even this offseason, depending on what we can get for him. And then Hans Kraus, in very, very limited sample size, was good. But I'm kind of planning on having him be in our bullpen this year full-time because I just like his ratings. He's still under 30 years old. He's a 77 overall. He's got a really solid hit per 9, K per 9, home run per 9, clutch. He's got a really good sinker-slider combo. I just like him. He's performed in some small sample size performances for us at the big league level. I feel like it's about time that we reward him with a full season in the big leagues. Honestly, I'm kind of leaning towards whether we bring back one of the relievers that we're losing or none of them. I am kind of leaning towards just filling most of those roles with some of our younger guys or guys in the system, like Hans Kraus. If we take a look at the rest of our bullpen guys here, we have Kelvin Caceres. His numbers on paper, that should definitely lead to be a pretty solid reliever. We're not going to be able to see because the postseason's already started and all the AAA stats are now gone. Who knows where they are? They just disappear. So Caceres, these ratings on paper, they should translate to being a good reliever. Craig Yoho could be a guy we could have in the bullpen for us this upcoming season. He looks like he's pretty good. He's been developing nicely. Victor Gonzalez could get a full year. Alex Jacob, who we picked up this offseason, could be a guy. He was really, really good in AAA this year. I know that for a fact. Garrett McDaniels was really good in AAA. He's a guy who could perform in the big league bullpen for us. Ryan Zeferjan, maybe not, but he is a guy, or he still has an option year, so maybe he's a guy, but he is interesting. Why is he listed as a free agent and not like a renewable guy? I don't know. But anyways, Zeferjan, he's a possible option. Then there's like some of these other guys like Brock Moore and whatnot who have some developing to do, but we have some options in the bullpen when it comes to guys in AAA who I think could be solid players for us. And then I'm also just going to go ahead and change Zach Neto to be a third baseman. And then there you have it, folks. The major league leader in doubles, Nolan Schanuel. Is that the case? He had 52 doubles, beating out Jarren Duran by a single double. And it was not the major league leader because Elly De La Cruz had 55 doubles for the Cincinnati Reds this season. McCarthy and Fitzgerald also with 50-plus in the National League. But the American League leader is Nolan Schanuel with 52 doubles on the season. He was also top 6 in hits with 184. The hits leader was Oswaldo Cabrera, which is insane. The average leader was Judge. Christopher Morel hitting 300 for the Rays, despite them being terrible this year. Aaron Judge hits 55 home runs, which is well in the lead for the American League. Also has the tie for the Ribbies with Samuel Basallo of the Baltimore Orioles. And then Schanuel wasn't top 5 in OBP. He was 9th in OBP with a 375, but he was 2nd in counting stats walks. So, do with that information what you will. Ben Joyce was indeed top 10 with saves. He had 44 on the season, which was good enough for 8th in the American League. When it came to ERA, Brian Wu was the ERA crown, and then Reed Detmers, the second best ERA in the American League this season on a team that won, 78 games? Just very funny to think that. McClanahan was top 10. He was 9th in ERA. And then when it came to WAR on the pitching side of things, it was Tarek Skubal, Zach Gallen, Pablo Lopez, Cutter Crawford was a surprising one, Dylan Cease, Nestor Cortez on the Royals, Bybee. We had Detmers all the way down here in 12th, and then McClanahan was 16th. In the batting side of things, the best WAR was Cal Raleigh, big dumper, leading the league in WAR. Behind him was Judge, and then 2 Orioles players and Samuel Basallo, and definitely don't look up his high school Gunnar Henderson. I'll just quickly through the National League side of things. The still juice in his bat, Mookie Betts, is here, leading the National League in batting average. The hits leader was Jose Tena, which is very interesting. I noticed that this guy was hitting well. I think it was 2025. Yeah, in 2020. Look at this guy's numbers. This guy's had 3 straight OPSs of 800 plus, and he's gotten basically better every year. Maybe the slugging a bit down in Season 2, but in Season 3, overall, just very, very good player. 28 home runs, 98 ribbies, 45 doubles, and he hits 315, which is 3rd in the National League. So the Nationals got themselves this dude popping off like that, while our players who have similar rating sets like this just can't do anything. And if I have to imagine that he's had 3 straight seasons of this good of ball, that these ratings did not start out nearly as good as this. I'd imagine they were still good, but I mean, why can't we do this? And there you go, proving this is fantasy land. Mookie Betts in this universe still has a bunch of juice in his bat, leads the National League with 48 home runs. Corbin Carroll, a 40 home run guy. I don't think really anybody would ever think that he's going to be a 40 home run guy in his career at some point, but in this universe, Corbin Carroll, 41 home runs for the D-backs, and then also Ketel Marte with 40 home runs. And then they also got Jake McCarthy out there swiping 39 bags. He's out there scoring a bunch of runs. He's out there towards the top of the doubles list too. The D-backs got themselves some players over there in this universe as well. And then the ERA leader was who else but Shohei Ohtani, followed by Sandy Alcantara, Braxton Garrett, 2 fish up there. Go fish, baby. Paul Skeens, Johan Oviedo of the Pirates, both in the top 5. In the strikeouts was Shohei Ohtani, followed by Skeens, Strider, Snell, Glasnow, all names you would expect to be up here, I feel like. And then when it comes to the WAR on the National League side of things and the pitchers, it is Ohtani, Skeens, Alcantara, Nola, Quinn Matthews turning into a real solid piece here for the Cardinals, Chris Sanchez, Braxton Garrett, Chase Dolander of the Rockies, go Rocky top. Batting WAR was Mookie Betts, I almost said Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, Ellie De La Cruz, Xander Bogaerts, Ketel Marte, Corbin Carroll, Contreras, Jackson Merrill, Brenton Doyle with a 5.9 wins above replacement for the Colorado Rockies. And then Jung-Hoo Lee, baby. And then one last look at the postseason bracket here before we actually go through the postseason. Oh, and I forgot to mention I had to make room on the 40-man roster, so we DFA'd and tried to waive Ian Anderson because he had no more options heading into next season, and we weren't going to bring it back anyways, so the Brewers claimed him. And the Minnesota Twins have defeated the Cincinnati Reds here in 2027. Didn't the Twins win it last year, too? Or am I thinking of OTP? I know they won it in OTP early on in that series as well with the Fish, but the Twins over here winning the World Series as well in 2027. There you have the postseason bracket. They win it basically the long way. They come all the way from the wild card. They beat Seattle, take out the Yankees, who were a bye team in the American League Division Series, then beat Boston in 7 games, who also came from the wild card and didn't lose a game up until the ALCS, then move on to the World Series and beat the Cincinnati Reds in 7 games, who also came from the wild card, further just solidifying how we just needed to get in. All we need to do is just get in the playoffs, and anything can happen. So the MVP in the American League is Aaron Judge, followed by Basayo and Henderson behind him. The Cy Young was an Oriole and Zach Gallen, the South Jersey man. The batting title belongs to Aaron Judge. The reliever of the year is another Yankee and Jason Adam, who puts together 54 saves, which I believe led the American League in saves. The rookie of the year was Colt Emerson of the Seattle Mariners, because they just have an absolutely stacked lineup. That's back-to-back years of Mariners Rookie of the Years, by the way, with Mark O'Connor the previous year. First award we get, the DH Silver Slugger, belongs to Nolan Shawnowell for his 100 RBI season and 26 home runs in our number 2 spot, dethroning Rafael Devers as the DH because they were playing him as third base this season, if I remember correctly. And before we take a look at the postseason side of things, we can take a look at the National League MVP was Mookie Betts. The Cy Young was Shohei Ohtani, who was also runner-up on the MVP award. The batting title was Mookie Betts. The reliever of the year was Matt Strahm, who had 47 saves with the Cincinnati Reds this season. The rookie of the year was Leo DeVries, I forget exactly how you pronounce his name. And then David Ibarra, who was their first-round pick in 2025. We saw him when we played San Diego earlier on in the season. We saw both of them. And then taking a look at the postseason side of things, the World Series MVP was Carlos Correa of the Minnesota Twins. And then the postseason MVP on the American League side of things was Royce Lewis, 5 home runs over the entire postseason with 16 runs driven in, Matt Wallner and Correa behind him. While on the National League side of things, it is Ellie De La Cruz, who had a monster postseason, hitting .351, 6 home runs and 14 ribbies. Jock Peterson, old friend on that team as well, and Christian Encarnacion Strand. Does he not go by Strand anymore? Is it just Encarnacion now? Or is this just like an MLB The Show thing where they refuse to have like a hyphen name like that in the game? They're like, oh, it's too long. I can't say I'm very on the up and up in the know about what the Reds are doing with their phonetics over there. And heading into this offseason, we will have to replace our pitching coach, Mike Gowdy. He has decided to retire. So the QO is $23.6 million, so I doubt we're going to be QOing Camilo Doval as a reliever. I shouldn't even say doubt, I say we are not going to be QOing him as a reliever. And then we do not luck out with a Trout retirement or anything like that. We are going to go with Leo Garlobo as our pitching coach. He has -3 velocity, but he does have +1 walk, hit per 9 for his +3, and then +2 control. He is going to be the one we are offering our pitching coach job to. Or we could go with the other guy I was considering was Harvey Yoder, who has +3 walk per 9, +3 stamina, and +1 home runs per 9, with only -2 on velocity. So, honestly, we're going to go with this guy. We're going to go Harvey Yoder. We're going to give him the pitching coach job. And as far as guys that we can give QOs to that we're not going to give QOs to anybody, the guys that we can re-sign at this point, there are 5 names: Camilo Doval, Kevin Ginkel, Luis Arias, Lamont Wade Jr., and Yusei Kikuchi. Kikuchi, 100% not coming back. Lamont Wade, 100% not coming back because we're opening up that position for Angelo Manuel. Arias is a maybe, depending on if we decide to possibly trade Neto for something. And then if we do bring back one of these relievers, I am leaning Doval simply because he is the better guy. He's going to be 30 this season. Ginkel's going to be 33. Doval is looking for 8.6 on a 2-year deal, 3-year deal for 8.6. What is our budget looking like? Our payroll this upcoming season is $128 million. So we have $69.62 million available in our budget. So we have a little bit of money to spend, not anything too crazy. And then as far as what Ginkel wants, he wants around $8 million too. So Doval wants a little bit more than him to be a guy who's significantly better overall-wise, has the A potential, and he's younger too. So we're definitely going to go with Doval with the re-sign. Arias we still have to make a decision on, but Ginkel, Wade, and Kikuchi are all pretty much guaranteed to not be back this upcoming season. Now, to be fair, Doval does say he's looking for $8.6 million, but the interest at $8.6 million is not quite full. So let's offer this to him, see if he gives that any real consideration. 2 years, $17.2 million. Okay, so we have to wait. All right, we're not going to be trading Neto. We're rolling with Neto and Kim on that side of the infield. So Luis Arias is going to go into free agency. Ginkel, Arias, Wade, and Kikuchi are all going into free agency. And then we're going to hope that Doval is going to sign this $17.2 million over 2 years contract. Harvey Yoder does indeed accept our offer to be pitching coach. That's a good thing. So Doval has indeed not accepted our contract, so we're going to have to be competing with other teams potentially for him in the free agency period. Arias, Wade, Ginkel, Kikuchi, and Doval are all free agents now, as well as just a list of guys who were like random minor leaguers that we were not going to bring back. So we're here at the arbitration eligible and also the tender contracts portion of the free agency period. As far as these arbitration guys, we're in a situation with mainly these top 3 guys right here. Reed Detmers, he is entering the final year of team control. He has 1 more year of arbitration left. And he, for that last year, is going to want around $18 million. We're not trying to extend him past that. He did have a really good season, but we're just hoping that we can QO him next year, get a draft pick for him, or if we suck ass again this year, which hopefully is not the case, we'll probably just trade him. But Reed Detmers will probably give him just this 1 year, $18.1 million. Probably just give him 1 year, 18. Yeah, we'll give him that, and then we'll also just we'll just offer this arbitration just, to ensure that we do have an offer. So if he doesn't ever accept this offer, he will at least have the arbitration there as the backup. And then when it comes to Ben Joyce, he is another player that we have 2 more years of team control this upcoming year and then 1 more year after that. And he is looking like he can be a very, very good top-end reliever. However, this game does not allow you to individually structure the contracts per year or front end or front load or back load or anything like that. So if you want this guy for long term, you have to bite the bullet and pay him for even those early years. Where on OTP, I'd be going into the weeds and making sure that year by year we're getting the most value out of the contract. And this, it's just hey, you want to lock up Ben Joyce for 4 years? Well, instead of giving him 7.4 and then 8.6, you got to give him 10.2. Or with Caden Dana is the main one I'm talking about here. He's a guy that we want to lock up long term. I think he is going to be a very good starting pitcher for us. He has shown flashes of that, especially last year in 2026. This year was a little bit down, but overall I do think that he is going to be a very good starting pitcher in the big leagues. And if we want to, we got 1 year it's $6 million, 2 years it's $8 million. 3 years it's $10 million, 4 mils it's 15, 4 years it's 13, 5 years it's 15.5. And that's just buying out 1 year of free agency. So those are his 4 ARB years plus 1 year of free agency. He's not even in his 30s at that point. So if we want to buy him out through his age 29 season, that's a 5-year deal. This is 30. It goes with a 17.1. 31, it's 18.3. 19.2 for 32. So if we give him a 7-year deal to buy him after his age 31 season, we have to commit to not only giving him for those free agency years, 18.3, but for these ARB years that should be like around $7 million are also $18 million flat just across the whole contract, which is just absurd that they not even thinking about changing this in franchise. It's also just like a batshit way to do any sort of extensions in this universe. So like, I mean, it's not how I would normally do it with a guy like this. I would want to lock him up long term, but this is just totally gonna kill a team doing that. Like getting 18 million when you should be getting 7 million. So I think we're just gonna go for now with a 2-year deal and then just kind of work year by year, I guess. Or I don't know. Because like Detmers is at the point where he wants like a shit ton. So maybe we go, and he's like around Detmers' level. So maybe we go like 5 years and we buy out that 1 year free agency at least. Boom. We're going to offer this to Caden Dana, $77.5 million over 5 years. That is 15.5 per. He has a ton of interest in that. That would be buying out his 4 arbitration years, plus that 2032 free agency season. He would be 29 at the end of that contract, heading into free agency at age 30. Let's do it. And then we're going to offer Ben Joyce 2 years at $18.6 million per. Or not 18, $8.6 million per. That would be insane, 18. And Jose Soriano here, he's a reliever who's in arbitration now, and he's going to want like around $6 million. So I'm thinking that we're just going to be trying to trade him and then just have one of our cheaper guys be a reliever for us this year and just try to save some money there because Soriano's almost 30 years old. So I think that's just what we're leaning towards doing. He wants, you can see here, $5 million. We're not trying to give him that. So Jose Soriano here, we're going to be moving on from him, trying to trade him. And then Ryan Johnson, because he is a good reliever that we like, he's 25 years old. He only wants around 1.8 for 1 year, 2.3 for 2 years, $3 million for 3 years, and then 3.7 for 4 years. So my plan is that rather than just wait till he keeps progressing and getting to the point where he wants as much as Soriano, we instead go, hey man, we'll give you like 4 years, 3.7, and then just lock you up for the rest of your team control here, 4 years of arbitration, and we don't have to worry about you getting too big for your britches here, and we could just lock you in at 3.7 for the 4 years individually, or 3.8. We'll do like 3.7 at like 4.7. Boom, we'll give him that. And then Sam Bachman, he's been a good reliever for us. He's 28 years old. He's had back-to-back seasons of 2 ERAs. Now, last year it was a bit, or it was 47 innings, never mind. Back-to-back seasons of sub-3 ERAs. And he has 2 more years of arbitration, but the thing is, he wants them both to be in the 3s. So I think we're just going to, rather than give him a contract, we're just going to go, hey man, you're expecting $3 million this year. I'll just go ahead and offer you, I'll probably just offer him a $3 million flat in arbitration, and maybe look around at trading him too and getting like an equal reliever who's like a bit more team controllable or something like that. Wenzel Perez wants $6 million? Oh my god, dude. He only has 2 more years of team control here. And I just offered him... no, let's withdraw that. I don't know if that's going to piss him off, but did not mean to offer that. He wants $6 million for 1 year, 7.5 for 2 years. I mean, I don't even want to offer him a 2-year deal at 7.5. So like, we'll probably just give him. I'll offer him ARB. What was the number again? You should be able to see the ARB offer when you go to offer. So 6 million is what he's looking for. 6.0 million. What I'm saying is you should be able to go to arbitration here, and it should tell you what he is projected to get. I don't give a shit what his previous salary was last year. That doesn't matter at all in arbitration. I need to know what he is projected to get. Why is that not on this screen? How is that not something these people are thinking of? But yeah, Soriano and Bachman are both guys that Soriano we're definitely going to trade. Bachman we maybe or may not trade. And then Vidal Brujan is the only other guy here who's arbitration eligible that we haven't offered to, because he is somebody we are just not going to offer to. He is no longer going to be a member of our organization here. He spent the whole year in AAA. He's 30 years old. We have players we like just as much as Vidal Brujan, if not more. So I just don't feel like it's worth bringing him back for $2.3 million, especially as a guy who has no more options and would not be on the big league team with a guy like Perez to serve that utility role. So we could just instead not pay him that money. And then as far as some of these tender contract guys, we've already gone through and offered all the guys that we are going to be offering contracts to. Just some of the more notable ones that we might not be bringing back. Nick Prado, simply because I don't know if he's going to have a spot on the team and he already has no options. We could just try passing him through waivers again, but he is a guy who is going to be making around like a little over $1 million. So I don't think that's worth bringing him back, so we could just let him walk. Jackson Clough was a guy we brought in last year because he had a good year in the minors the season before. He was never really anything for us. We're just going to get rid of him. We have better players we like in the infield. Isaac Collins is somebody we did like. Unfortunately, never really improved as much as we thought he was going to on the bat side of things to complement his discipline and his defense. But he's another guy who has no options. So there's no point in bringing him back. We'll just have guys like Bishop and Robert Hassel as some of our more depth outfielders rather than Isaac Collins. And then Matthew Lugo is a guy who does have an option year, but he's just kind of been bypassed on our roster. Like, I just don't think he's that valuable. He's 26. He hasn't really developed. So I just would rather have other players instead of him in the organization. Alrighty, folks. So we are here looking at the free agency. Alrighty, folks. So we are here looking at the free agents available. All these, apparently Rushman did not get a QO. I don't know why. Because the QO thing is working. It says QO made for Sandy Alcantara, not for Contreras, for Pablo Lopez, for Robert. But William Contreras and Adley Rushman both didn't get QO offers? That seems crazy to me. Dude, Rushman would be insane. If we could somehow get Adley Rushman and then trade O'Hoppe, that would be insane, because they're just, like, not playing. Like, he was a backup for them last year. This guy was a backup catcher for them because they were playing Basayo over him. Doval is still asking for 2 years, but $9.5 million now. We'll throw him on there just because we might want to bring him back as a reliever. Honestly, just because I'm kind of talking myself into this catcher idea, we might just throw Rushman and Contreras on our priority list, and then just have those guys, let's change him to priority 2, and let's just have these guys on our priority list with Doval, and let's see if maybe we can get one of them and then trade O'Hoppe. I mean, we look at the depth chart here. O'Hoppe is an 85 overall. He's 28. He's 2 years younger than both of these guys. He's a B potential. These other guys are A potentials. You know, they've proven that they're better producers than he is. We have him locked up at 10.8 for 4 more seasons, so that's, you know, it's definitely cheaper than what we might be able to get these guys for. But, like, Contreras and Rushman are both, like, middle of the order, like, lineup changing bats, as well as being very, very good defensive catchers as well. Rushman has 2, like, even when he was the starter, 2 seasons of very, very good 20-plus home runs, 30 doubles the 1 year, 800 OPS both seasons, and then last year, for whatever reason, when they were playing him as a bench player because the AI lineup management is stupid, he was even better with the OPS and limited sample size. But, I mean, like a lineup-changing player that we could definitely use. Same with Contreras. He's another guy who 3 seasons of 800 OPS, 800 plus, high 800 OPS, all 3 seasons. I mean, I don't even know who I would rather prefer. I mean, to be honest, they're both really, really good. We'll just see which one is easier to get, I guess. But I think that's what we're going to do here, because we kind of need a generational bat at this point. Not a generational bat, but if we look at who else is here, like, it's Relievers, starting pitchers, Luis Robert, who we could theoretically go after in center field. He's had one good season and two kind of meh seasons offensively. Don't love his reaction time in center field. Plus, I kind of want to play Chandler Simpson there. There's Bregman, who's 33 years old, and I don't want to commit to another old guy. Stephen Kwan, we have Coffey in left field. Obviously, Coffey's not quite this type of player yet, but he could be. Isaac Paredes is a guy we could possibly go after to play like third base for us. That could be an option. Man. But if we do that, then we're in a situation where then we have a bit of a logjam. Are we then trying to trade one of the infielders? Are we trying to trade Neto or Kim and have Paredes play the third base and then have Lau at second base, Manuel at first? Do we have Manuel in the minor leagues for another season and have Isak play first for us? That could be an option. Honestly, I think we replace Doval with... Did I already pass him? With Isaac Paredes, and we have those three guys on our list. There's also Bryson Stott here, but I don't really love him. I guess he had one really good season. Luis Garcia. No, he's not really the type of bat we're looking for. There's Jeff McNeil, who we were looking at the trade deadline. Don't really think we want to go there. So I think Paredes, Isaac Paredes, is that power bat we're trying to go for here. 30-plus home runs, basically 30 all three seasons with the 29 in the first season. Yeah. So I think this is the big board we're going to do here for the first week. Rutschman, Contreras, and Paredes, and see if we can maybe get one of these guys to add to our lineup, and whichever one we get, whether we get a catcher or whether we get the infielder, then trade whoever is in that place to have a logjam. Or if we get the infielder, honestly, I think we might lean towards having Manuel be in AAA for us for a full season. Let him develop for another season in the minor leagues, because he is only like 18 or 19. So we could theoretically do that and then have Paredes just be our first baseman, and then, maybe next season we kind of kick the can down the road for another season and then figure out at some point and just have depth. But yeah, this is what we're going to lock in here for this first week. I mean, you want to see the type of value that relievers have in this game. Jose Soriano, 79 overall reliever, very good reliever. Absolutely could be a really solid, like, high leverage reliever for somebody. Wouldn't even be able to get me this guy. Would not even be able to get this guy. That is how piss poor the value is for relievers in this game. Like, you basically can only trade them for, like, absolute... Can't even get this guy. We can get this guy. We can get a 27-year-old who's terrible in Double-A. So basically all you can do for these guys is just trade reliever for reliever, which, like, makes no sense from a team structure standpoint, because, like, if I'm trading a reliever because he wants too much money from me and we want to get a controllable reliever, why would a team like the Tigers, for example, who would be a team who would trade for a guy like this because they want a more solidified reliever, they don't have any other relievers I could get from them. So, like, why would they ever be like, hey, we'll take Soriano and we'll give you somebody like Brendan White here because he has all this team control? Like, why would they ever do that from a team structure standpoint? But those are literally the only trades you can do with relievers in this game, because they just have zero value. I have scrolled through every single team in this game. There is not one team that has anything that, like, none of this would ever make sense. There's not one single team in all of baseball where it makes sense, or why they would want Soriano and then give us a team controllable reliever that makes sense for us. Most teams don't even have team controllable relievers. Pretty much every team in this game, their entire reliever depth chart, even down to, like, the AAA level, is just, like, dudes like this, 30-year-olds who they just hang on to forever. So, like, sure, I could possibly get this guy, this Jim Whitley or Whiteley or whatever this guy's name, whatever his name is. Yeah, I could do that. Would that make sense for us? Maybe. Trading a 79 overall reliever who has one more year of team control for a guy who has never even sniffed the big leagues and looks like he could be a really good strikeout pitcher. Or like, why would the Tigers want to give us Brendan White, who they just don't use ever for some reason? But now this year is suddenly their second best reliever, and he's positioned to be getting actual starting time for them. Ironically, the A's are probably one of the teams that makes sense to do this with. They could use a right-now reliever. They have Mason Miller and basically nobody else. And then they have this guy, Gage Jump, who's a 69 overall B potential, just sitting in their minor league system. Second-round pick in 2024. Looks like he could definitely be a reliever for us at some point as a lefty, too. But do we want to make a trade in division? I don't know. The Braves could be an option, too. They could definitely use a reliever on their team right now. And they have this guy, he's not a B potential, but Luis Pena, a 19-year-old right-handed reliever who they took in round 5 in 2026. Already really good hit per 9 and K per 9. Obviously going to have some walk issues, but he's a reliever. Of course he's going to have some walk issues. The thing about him is he doesn't throw hard at all. He throws a 2-seam slide changeup, 12-6 curve repertoire, and it's all just like different movement sort of stuff. Not really sure how he gets that good of swing and miss with these pitches, but apparently he does. I guess he has a ton of break, which it does seem like that. He could definitely be an option for us if we don't want to go in division. The Padres might have a dude, too. The Padres have all these guys way up here. They could use a reliever. And they got a couple dudes. Francis Pena's 27. He could be interesting. But I was mainly looking at Tyson Neighbors here, 25 years old. Has never touched the big leagues here. That's an intriguing reliever right there. The hits per 9 are definitely concerning, but he's going to strike out dudes. He's not going to give up home runs. He's got clutch. He's got velocity. He's got break. Tyson Neighbors, definitely intriguing. Honestly, though, even though he's in division, I think I prefer Gage Jump. I just think that he's more intriguing because he's a lefty. Tyson Neighbors is probably my second choice, and then that Pena guy from the Braves is my third. But I think we just prefer this guy because he's a lefty, and we're going to go after him here. Gage Jump, second-round pick in 2024. 24 years old, B potential to the Athletics. Hopefully it doesn't bite us back in the ass and Soriano ends up having like a crazy season with the A's. But Soriano is going to go to the A's in return for Gage Jump. You know, I think we're gonna give Bachman the 2 years. It's only $3 million. It's worth it. I feel like he's been good enough. He's got that 94 home runs per 9. He's got that insane velocity. I feel like he's worth it. Especially where he stands in our bullpen heading into this season. So we'll just like give him an ARB offer of like the $3 million. We'll give him like a 2.8 ARB offer. And then we'll also just give him 2 years at 3.5. Why not? Sweeten the pot, give him $7 million flat over 2 years. All right, so Rutschman, Contreras, and Paredes are all talking to teams, as you would expect. I feel like we cannot offer Rutschman because his interest is not up to 50% yet. Same with William Contreras, but we can offer one to Isaac Paredes. I believe since we have them all on the board, that if they get an offer during the week, we would get like a message being like, "Hey, last chance to give him an offer." But I also don't want to just not give Paredes an offer because we don't know if Contreras and Rutschman are going to sign. So, like, I don't want to not offer Isaac Paredes and then, like, we end up in a situation where, we could have given him an offer and we didn't. And it says it only goes up 6% per week for Rutschman, 5% for Contreras. So Contreras will get to 50% next week. Rutschman will not, though. He'll only go up to 46. It would help if we had like a positional need at catcher, but we don't because we have Ohapi there. I mean, it even says the position competition has no block, so like he shouldn't be negated by that anyways. Yeah, I think we're going to wait a week. We're going to hold off on offering Paredes now. We're going to wait a week, see what happens. Here we go. Isaac Paredes getting an offer from one of these teams, so we have to offer him now or risk losing him. I think I'd just prefer the catcher, if I'm completely honest with you. I think I would prefer one of the catchers. So we're gonna... I mean, we could theoretically get both, and then trade O'Hoppe, do the thing where we let Manuel develop for a year. But do we want to lock into like a 4 or 5 year deal for Paredes and for one of the catchers? I don't know, man. I don't know. It's going to be like age 34 for Paredes. The budget will drop down to like 38-ish million if we give him a deal like this, but we'll have to give him more than this just to get his interest up. So we would have to give him already like more just to get his interest up. So like I'm even reluctant to do like 23, to be honest. His defense is good enough to where, honestly, I'd rather have him at second or third. So we would probably do something where he plays third or he plays second, Neto plays second or Neto plays third, and we move Brandon Lau to be first base for this season. And like I said, we'll have Manuel developing down in the minor leagues for another full season, and then we'll kick that can down the road for another season and then decide what to do with the infield situation for what will be season 5 in 2029, because it's 2028 coming up, right? It would, like, wipe out so much of our budget getting him and one of the catchers. And we don't even know, like, what the actual monetary want that the catchers are going to have. So, like, if we give him this and he accepts this, are we even going to be able to still get one of the catchers? Fuck it, man. We got to do something. We got to do something to change this team. I'm going to give him the 4-year offer at $23.04 million. That's a 54% current motivation. If it gets it done, awesome. If it doesn't, full focus on the catchers. And the decision is incoming. Isaac Paredes, what have you decided? The animation is super long. God damn it! I saw the red for a second and I was excited. Nope, he's going to Cincinnati, folks. 6 years. They gave him less money, but 6 years through his age 35 season. Oh boy. Down to 35. Oh my god, he's going to get an offer from the Cubs or the Red Sox. What do they need him for, man? 35%. We'll give you 5 years. I mean, there's no way he's going to sign with us. I mean, if I give him 5 years, $26 million, that's still only 47% on the motivation. Am I gonna get screwed? I'm getting screwed out of this, aren't I? That we're gonna lose out on this, and then I'm gonna sim like 2 days, and that's gonna be like Contreras got an offer for somebody else, so now your motivation is even lower, and now you're gonna lose out on him, and then if you want him, you're gonna have to give him some ridiculous contract. Well, we're gonna do this. We're gonna go 20. I can't even go higher than that. We're going to go 26.25, the max we can give him for a per-year contract, and 5 years. That's what we're going to do. Adley Rutschman, let's see what you decide. God damn it, man! He's going to Boston. He just loves being in the AL East, I guess. So he's going to go play for Boston because in this universe, Narv is not like a sick catcher. Once again, term over money. I gave them more money, way more money than that, but 5 years, only one less year, and they prefer to go to Boston. And now we have 4 more days to sim through till we're able to get another offer in there. So hopefully Contreras hangs on. Bregman goes to the Milwaukee Brewers. So that's crazy. 3 years for a 33-year-old. That's through his age 36 season. Sandy, oh my god, dude. Like, we don't have enough to deal with in division. They just traded for Caminero, and now they've got Sandy Alcantara to add to their already insane pitching staff. That's insane, dude. Yes, today is also the deadline to add guys to our 40-man roster. So just taking a look at this list right here, bang, Kendry Martinez, Gage Jump, and Robert Hassel all going on the 40-man. All right. William Contreras is now demanding 4 years, $18.5 million. Our motivation's up to 53%. He is the only priority on our board. Let's offer him the first. He wants 4 years, so we know that these guys love term. Let's give them term 5 years. He's 30 years old. We get him through his age 35 season. I'm totally fine with that. William Contreras, 5 years. And we are going to crank up the term just a little bit. Not give him anything crazy. But 21.09. That moves the motivation to 62%. We get the first offer bonus, 62% current motivation. 5 years. We know these guys love term. We're giving him 1 more year than he's requesting, like the other guys accepted for. And we're giving him more money. Boom. 5% motivation boost because we just made the first competitive offer. And then we'll just look around. I don't think we're going to do anything right now. Has Doval signed with somebody already? It looks like Doval already signed with somebody. So we'll see what that was at some point. But I think we're just going to go with this one just so we have that motivation boost for the one priority on there. And we're going to change our team needs to power and also on-base machine. Yeah, there we go. That's an extra percentage for Contreras. And if we just go one positional need, does that... No, it doesn't. Okay. So power on base for Contreras. And we'll lock in that one priority. And please sign with us. Holy shit. Franchise-altering decision here, folks. This animation... Yes! Let's go! William Contreras, welcome to the team. You are now a heart-of-the-order hitter for the Los Angeles Angels. Holy shit. William Contreras, 5 years, $21.1 million per. The 30-year-old catcher is now a member of the Los Angeles Angels after 3 straight seasons of very, very solid OPSs, mid to high 800s all 3 seasons. That's a 6.7, a 7.0, and a 6.3 WAR. And now he is an Angel, folks. If we have this guy plus the current guys we had, and we still don't perform, what can you even say about the Angels? Look at all these quirks, too. He's a homebody. He performs better at night games, excels at hitting breaking balls, performs better with the team's behind in the 9th inning or later, situational hitter, bad ball hitter. I mean, incredible stuff here, folks. Ton of all-stars, a Gold Glove in 2026, Silver Slugger in 25, 26, and 27. He's ours now. And now we have a decision to make with Logan O'Hoppe. We have Logan O'Hoppe, who is signed through that 4-year deal at $10.8 million. That's going to be, we're obviously not going to have a catching tandem with these two guys, so Logan O'Hoppe, we're going to go trade him to a team that needs a catcher and see what we can get in return for him. All right, folks, so we're looking here at trying to do a Logan O'Hoppe trade, and as far as I understand it, or as far as I see it, we have 2 real options. One of them is trading him to the Tampa Bay Rays, who we have already done a boatload of trades with in this franchise already. Giving them a franchise catcher in O'Hoppe, 28 years old, who is signed at a very team-friendly $10.8 million for the next 4 seasons. They would get him to solidify their catching spot. Now, the only thing that's really interesting to me, or like equal value to me, is essentially just trading for their best pitcher, Taj Bradley. That's really the only thing that makes sense to me. I guess maybe Pepio, who only has 1 more year of team... I think they are 2 more years of team control for Bradley, including this upcoming season, and Pepio has just this season. And Pepio has been, like, okay, not really great, whereas Taj Bradley has actually been not good. He had 1 2-war season at 1.3, but, like, McClanahan struggled in Tampa Bay, too, for some reason. But once he came here, he's been a lot better. So I don't know. I feel like a starting pitcher at this point in their arbitration is somebody that the Rays would be looking to trade, and we could add him to the rotation. We would definitely be more interested in extending Taj Bradley. Or I don't know. Maybe him and Detmers are probably like similar quality. We would have to decide which one we want to bring back next season. Or not next season, but we have Bradley for next season. But like McClanahan, Dana, Bradley... maybe we trade Klassen at some point and have Rivera as the true 5th guy. That could be an option for us. Maybe we just trade Detmers now while his value's super high. I'm not really sure. But Dana did indeed accept his extension, by the way. But I think this could be a thing where if we pick up Taj Bradley for Logan O'Hoppe, that could be interesting. The other one is the Cubs, who I know were in on a catcher despite them having 5 MLB quality catchers, none of them like good MLB quality catchers, but they've got Trevino and Jake Rogers here, and they also have Miguel Amaya, Reese McGuire, and Matt Thaiss. So like they don't particularly need a catcher, but it is one of their needs that they have on there. And we know they were in for Rushman, so it makes sense that they would want O'Hoppe. But really the only thing that makes sense for me is Matt Shaw. Would they want to give up Matt Shaw for Logan O'Hoppe? Would they be willing to go like, hey, we'll give you this guy for this guy, and we'll get this position that we need, but we'll also trade away third base? Like, they already need some infield help already. Why would they be trading away their 26-year-old Matt Shaw, who has 3 full seasons in the big leagues here? He's never, like, I guess in 2026 he had a really good season, but aside from that, has had some definitely not ideal years. I guess last year was more defensive than it was anything else. Negative WAR in the first season in 2025. That's crazy. That is crazy. But he has 3 years of team control, including this upcoming one. I don't know. I feel like maybe he's an option for us. He could be an option. So those are really what I'm looking at here is Logan O'Hoppe for Matt Shaw or Logan O'Hoppe for Taj Bradley. And it's, it makes sense to me that like Matt Shaw would be our second baseman. We run Matt Kim and Neto left side, move Lau to first base. That makes sense to me. I don't think we particularly need a starting pitcher like Taj Bradley. If we did get Taj Bradley, I would want to extend either him or Reed Detmers long term. And from the other team's side of things on both of these, I don't think they're like the most sound of all time. Like, I don't think that like O'Hoppe, like the Cubs we know are in on catching. They want a catcher. But like the only thing they really have of value to give me is Matt Shaw. So like we're not looking to pick up prospects for this. We're not going to trade for an expiring Shota Imanaga. We're not going to trade for Ben Brown, who's like a tier below Bradley, obviously. So, like, Shaw is really the only thing that's worth trading for here. And then it doesn't really make a ton of sense for the Rays to get O'Hoppe either. But those are really the only teams that need catchers. You also have some teams like the White Sox who have Teal and Edgar Quero, who they're not going to trade for a catcher. You have the Tigers, who have Thyron Lorenzo, and then Dylan Dingler, who's like whatever. But like they could possibly trade for one, but like they don't really have anything to give me. It's like, oh, you want a first baseman in Spencer Torkelson who's underachieved? No, I don't want a bat who underachieves. I have plenty of those. Colt Keith is a bit more interesting to me. They've got him on this extension where we have 3 more seasons of $4.8 million. We trade them like a more premier position player in O'Hoppe, who's a bit more expensive. We get like a bargain on the money, and we get a guy who's playing like a less premium position, like first base, second base. That could be an option. He's a guy who also hasn't really, I guess season 1, he was like pretty good in a full season. Season 2, he was not great, and then last year he was pretty okay, pretty solid. What was the WARs for both season? 3.4, then a 1, lower than 1, then a 2.3. So Colt Keith is more interesting to me than Torkelson is, obviously. And then they also have this guy coming up their system, so like they could definitely trade one of these first basemen. So add that to the list. This one makes, I think, from the standpoint of the other team, makes the most sense to me, but I'd prefer Matt Shaw as a player over Colt Keith. But from like a standpoint of like, would the team do this trade? I think it makes the most sense from a Tigers standpoint. There's also the Twins, who just won the goddamn World Series, and their catcher is Tyler Stevenson, who hasn't had great seasons in this. So they could use a catcher, obviously, but like, do we want to give the World Series champions even more players? Edouard Julien, perhaps? Are you gonna rule again? Now, he's a straight platoon player, so it feels kind of crazy to trade for Edouard Julien as a platoon player. Brooks Lee, perhaps? Maybe? That's something that could get done. They've got a ton of infielders there. I mean, I like both Brooks Lee and Edouard Julien. Edouard Julien is a straight-up platoon player, though. But, I mean, I like both these guys. So this is another team we can add to the mix, but also I'm kind of hesitant to like give the defending World Series champions an upgraded catcher. This might work. Maybe we give them Kahanowitz. They could use a starter. He just hasn't worked out here for us, but he's a 78 overall starter. He's 27. He's got multiple years of team control left, including this year that's already locked in at league minimum. He's got 3 more years after that. He would be their 5th starter. They could get a 5th starter from this on top, and then they get a catcher who's like a franchise catcher, and they give us Brooks Lee, who they don't need because they have Edman, they have Lewis at 3rd, they have Correa at short, they have Miranda at first base, and then Edouard Julien, who they seem to not use like whatsoever. So we could get Lee and Julien, and we give them O'Hoppe, who covers the most of the value for that, and then Kahanowitz is like a solid 5th starter option. We play Lee at 2nd, but then where does Julien play? Because we played Lee at 2nd, we move Lau to first base. Obviously, Shawnwell's taking up the DH spot, then Julien has no spot for us. So maybe we do the full like organizational retool here this offseason because we've just sucked so much and we got to do something drastic here. So we bring in Contreras, we get rid of O'Hoppe, we trade O'Hoppe and Kahanowitz, and we get Lee and Julien, and then maybe we also, since we bring in 2 of these guys, we play like Julien at second base, we platoon him with somebody against lefties, either second or first. And then Lee plays Lau, so it'd be like Lee maybe goes to shorts or Neto goes to shorts, and we trade Kim. That could be an option. That could be something we do, because I think I'd prefer to keep Neto just because of the upside there. And we have Kim making $23.4 million over the next 3 seasons after putting up a horrible season for us. So before I do this where we lock in Lee and Julien, and then we get stuck with Kim and maybe not being able to trade him, I think that's what we're going to do. O'Hoppe, Kahanowitz for Lee and Julien. But then we're also going to go around the league and see who could use a shortstop that's on a long-term deal here, or a 3-year deal here at a pretty high price. And the thing about trading Kim is that we're not so much concerned with getting total value for him back. We're just trying to get him off the books and open up a spot at the shortstop position so we can play some of these more intriguing guys in the infield rather than playing Kim, who is... let's be honest, I've lost all faith in his ability to hit for us a full season like that. I don't know. I don't think it's going to ever work here for us, so we're just going to get rid of him. And like I said, it's going to be a salary dump as opposed to trying to get the most value for him. And really just looking around the league, the Rays are one of the most intriguing options to trade for him, even though the Rays would never give this kind of contract to a shortstop, or to really anybody, like an older 32-year-old player. But, trading him back to the Rays, he's had success there. It wouldn't be the most outrageous thing in the world. The Astros could also use a shortstop. Doubt they want to keep playing Nick Allen, as they have been playing him every day, but because they're losing Pena this offseason. But right now, Nick Allen is slotted as their everyday shortstop. I doubt they want to keep doing that. So trading him in division to the Astros could be an option. All right, folks, I think we have our mastermind here, our evil scientist plan here of changing up the vibes. You know, you have 2 seasons like that. You gotta make some changes here, some wholesale changes. I know Ha-Seong Kim was only a part of one of those teams, but Ha-Seong Kim here, we are just moving on from him. He's going to the Tampa Bay Rays. It's a salary dump to the Tampa Bay Rays. We are going to send him there because they need a shortstop. He's a shortstop. He has had success there the past 2 seasons, or 2026 and 2025. He was good both those seasons with them. Apparently loves playing in Tampa Bay, hates playing here, so he's going to go there, play for them, and then we are going to get Richie Palacios, who's a 30-year-old depth utility man with some high discipline, really good speed, reaction, can steal some bags for you. Doesn't really play much for them. He has had some success in very limited sample size for them. He has 2 more years of team control, including this one. He has options, so he's a 30-year-old player. And then they've got similar, like, younger guy, like they have DeLuca, who's around the same age. They have this Aiden Smith guy who's around that quality of player and is definitely going to be a bit better than he is. They've got this Theo Gillen guy who they have in the system. I've heard of Theo Gillen. He's, first round pick 2024. He's not just some guy. They have this Ramon Casto guy who they took in the first round in 2026. They've got this Matthew Etzel guy who I just figured they would rather have the younger guy than Palacios, and that's why we're going for Palacios instead of trying to pick up this guy. So we're getting Palacios and Wyatt, who is a reliever. He's one of these 66 overall relievers, lefty, has really good hit per nine and K per nine, needs some work on the walks and home runs, but overall intriguing enough as a 24-year-old, so we're going to add him to the team along with Palacios. And then we're going to turn around and we're trading Logan O'Hoppe to the Twins, who could use a catcher. And in return, we get 2 infielders in Brooks Lee and Edouard Julien to add to the mix here in Anaheim. Get us some new infielders, get us some decent guys to work with here. And we're giving them Kahanowitz to be their 5th starter. We might have to bring in some depth starters here this offseason, but we'll do that. And we bring in a couple new bats, get a new look offense going this season, and we're excited to see what the 2028, Angels are going to be looking like. So I know this is going to be crazy, but we are already trying to extend Brooks Lee. He has 3 years of team control. 1 year would be 5.9, 8.1, then 10.2. Then for buying out a year of free agency, it's 12.4. Buying out another year is 14, so I figured why not do it up to 15 for 6 years. That would sign him through his age 33 season, which is, about when I would be like, okay, we're going to start looking on to move on from somebody like this. He's still got some upside. He's got a really good bat. He's going to play shortstop for us. Neto's got that arm to play over on the hot corner. We trust that Brooks Lee is going to be a good enough shortstop. He came out of college as a shortstop, as somebody who could questionably play there, and we're trusting him to play there. So Brooks Lee, he's going to be our shortstop. We're going to offer him this 6-year, $15 million extension. Hope he accepts it. We do have arbitration offered him for around what he was going to get for his first season anyways, so even if he doesn't accept this, we will still have him, obviously, on the team. Edouard Julien, we gave him, and Palacios their arbitration offers as well. Julien is somebody I'm maybe a little bit interested in giving an extension to. He's dropped in an overall because we moved him to first base, because the overall thing we're looking at here is catcher is Contreras, obviously. DH is Shaunawell. We're going to play Julien at first base because Lau's going to play second, Neto's going to play third, and Brooks Lee is going to play short. And that means that since Julian's playing first base, we're going to have to platoon him with somebody against lefties. Brewer Hicklin, folks. Enter Brewer Hicklin, who was a phenomenal player for us this season in AAA. Look at those ratings. He can absolutely give you that shortstop platoon. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why not platoon him with Angelo Manuel, who also crushes lefties? That, my friends, is simply because we want this guy playing every day in AAA or AA, whichever level we decide. We want him for a full year in the minor leagues, developing for his age 18 season last year, age 19 season this year, getting another full season of just tearing up the minors, and then bang, 2020, then he's coming up to the big leagues, and we decide what to do with him there and try to get him as many ABs as possible. But for now, Brewer Hicklin is the plan at the platoon at the first base with Eduardo Julien, and that's just something, Edouard Julien, that's intriguing to me. We're going to do that. That's the plan heading into the rest of the offseason here. And as far as an extension for him, he also has 3 years of team control. He is 28 years old. You could see I just offered him, I had a $6 million ARB offer because that was around what he was expecting. But if we give him a 3-year thing, it's 10 million, 6.5, 8.4. I don't know if I want to give him a $10 million contract, so I think we'll probably just be I don't know, maybe we can get him for a little bit less than 8 for 2 years. I doubt he does this. I doubt he wants to sign a 2-year, $15 million deal, but we'll offer it. If he accepts it, he accepts it. If he doesn't, then we will just give him the arbitration offer instead, which is already offered. So we have him guaranteed, obviously. So Brooks Lee, Julien, and Palacios obviously are going to be on the team this upcoming season. And the Twins are not done, folks. Not only did they sign Dylan Cease, and he was a big part of their team a couple seasons ago with this World Series champion, did they just trade it? And they also just traded for Logan O'Hoppe. They also just picked up Stephen Kwan, in-division player, moving from the Guardians to the Twins. Stephen Kwan is now added to this Twins team. So with Kwan and O'Hoppe, Very, very scary roster they've got over there. And then look at this. We had such a big blockbuster trade that they're highlighting it overall here. Logan O'Hoppe to the Minnesota Twins, along with Jack Kahanowitz in return for Edouard Julien and Brooks Lee. We're taking a look at what's here in free agency with our budget of $43.14 million. There is Felix Bautista out there. If you wanted to go out and get ourselves like a shutdown reliever, Felix Bautista is that guy. 32 years old. He only wants a 2-year deal. Same with Edwin Diaz. Pablo Lopez is out there coming off of 2 years. That's intriguing to me. Pablo Lopez, he got a QO, didn't he? We're in that portion where, like, I forget which guys got QOs, and they're no longer showing up here in the top left. So I'm pretty sure he got a QO. If I had to imagine these relievers did not get QOs, we're going to get screwed so hard by this. I'm going to sign somebody who I think didn't get a QO, and then it turns out they did. Because why would it be on the screen here? It was just 2 weeks ago, and now it's not. The QOs don't expire. That's not how they work. And I think I do, like, he's just better than Ginkel. I mean, Ginkel was good for us last year, but Griffin Jax is like a whole nother level. So is Evan Phillips. I mean, that's back-to-back. Sub-3 ERAs, almost a 1 ERA this past season with Pittsburgh. That is crazy. I'm kind of tempted to get both these guys, to be honest. Just get like a year of Evan Phillips and Griffin Jax. We look at the depth chart at the relievers here. You know, you got Joyce, who's obviously the closer, and then you got Johnson, Bachman, Kraus. Those are really the only, like, guys we want to guarantee spots to. Mainly Kraus because he doesn't have any options. But, like, sure, I wouldn't mind having Katsaris or Yoho or even Gage Jump in the bullpen. But, like, we could add 2 guys in Phillips and Griffin Jax, and that's still only 5. Plus the 6 as the closer. That's still 2 spots open in the bullpen when we rock 7 bullpen arms, or 8 bullpen arms, rather. Just get that percentage up to 70. Why not? We've got the money. 1-year deal. Griffin Jax, $8.8 million. 70% motivation to sign. Stamp that shit. Why is it telling me we've already offered Griffin Jax? Rumored to be close to signing with the Guardians. Well, why? Man, I'll give you $9.3 million for 1 year. How about even $9.6 million for 1 year? That's an 80% motivation to sign. If you don't sign with me, I swear. Please. Why is this so long? Thank God, Griffin Jax is a member of the Angels for the next season. Let's fucking go. And then Pablo Lopez, 3-year deal, $38.4 million to the San Diego Padres. That is a heap of money, my goodness. And Felix Bautista back to the Orioles. No longer, not going to be on a different team. 3-year deal, $20 million for a closer. Obviously, like, the best closer, one of the best closers in the game. Yes? Why is he no longer interested in our offer? Oh boy, the draft lottery. We have the 11th best odds. It would be phenomenal if we somehow had a crazy jump here to, like, the top 3. Let's hope for it, folks. And we stay exactly where we are. The Giants jump up 8 spots to number 2. The Rangers jump up 3 spots to the top spot. And we just sit put at 11th. I mean, why couldn't we be the team jumping up to 2nd place? And the Mariners continue to be an absolute powerhouse as they bring back Logan Gilbert. We are here for the Rule 5 draft. Only 2 players have been taken so far. Gavin Hollowell to the Blue Jays from the St. Paul Saints, it looks like. And the Rangers took Colin Selby, who I believe that's Bowie? I don't know what that logo is. And I'm thinking we might take Jose Quijada here. With our current reliever situation, if we add Evan Phillips, Griffin Jax, we've got them at the top of the thing. We're at the back end with Joyce, that's 3. Then 4 would be Johnson, 5 would be Bachman, 6 would be Kraus. That's still 2 more spots, and that's no lefties. So Quijada, we know, is a good reliever. For whatever reason, the Marlins, or not the Marlins, the Rays have just not been using him. We know he's a good reliever. We like him. He's had success with us before. We are going to bring Jose Quijada back as a Rule 5 pick at the age of 32 because they are not using him. And he's also already has no options, so even if we did just trade for him, we would not be able to send him down anyways, so we might as well just get him as a Rule 5. There's really nothing else that's interesting out there, so let's just get Jose Quijada. He signed with the Reds on a 1-year, $9.5 million deal. That is brutal, man. We wanted him. We wanted him real bad. All right, well, now we pivot. We've still got Ginkel out there. Alex Vesia is a lefty who's out there we could go for. He does want a 2-year deal, which I'm not exactly inclined to be giving him, especially coming off a 4 ERA season. Will Vest only wants a 1-year deal. Alvarado wants a 1-year deal as a left-hander. That could be sick. He's had horrible seasons in this universe. 2025 and 2027 was not good either seasons. Why was he throwing 84 innings? He threw in 85 games for Washington. Jesus Christ, no wonder why he had a 4 ERA or a 5 ERA almost. With a 3.7 FIP. His arm was falling off. Jesus Christ. The Blue Jays made a big splash here. A 2-year deal for Dansby Swanson, the 34-year-old. Oh no, it's a trade. They trade for the rest of Dansby Swanson here, age 34, going to the Blue Jays, and the Cubs get a B potential. This guy, to be fair, could be really good because he has that insane plate skills. That is insane. 79 vision, 76 discipline, 84 clutch. This guy could be really good. He could be like a 72 overall and just have one of the best bats in the league because he's got those plate skills. That's crazy. I don't mind them trading for that guy. And then there's some C potential starting pitcher. They definitely could have gotten more. But, this Peter Kay guy, that is very intriguing. Contract decision incoming for Alvarado. What do you mean? I gave you more than you wanted. How is that not what you're interested in? Why is he looking like that, by the way? Why is that what his player model looks like? Oh, is that because he's out for PED, so they took his player model out of the game? Is that what's happening here? And then Luis Robert goes back to Boston, 5 years, $31 million. That is a crazy deal for a guy who has not really been that exciting for them. But Luis Robert going back to Boston. They also get Adley Rutschman this offseason. So yeah, I think that's why Alvarado's player model is all fucked up, is because he's currently serving a PED suspension, so he looks like not Jose Alvarado in game. That's kind of making me not want to sign Jose Alvarado, if I'm to be completely honest with you. We could get Matt Strahm, maybe. Matt Strahm, he's regressing a ton, but we just had a really good season from a regressing Kikuchi who started out with similar numbers as this, and Strahm has proven that he's a dude. Look at this. 3 seasons of just absurdly low ERAs with absurdly low FIPs. I think he's won at least 1 Reliever of the Year award, if not 2. He's really good. So why not throw him on the list here, get rid of Alvarado, simply because he's fake in the game because they removed his player model, I guess. But Bednar, Strahm are on our board here as the 1-2. Contract decision incoming, folks. It's time for the really long cutscene that's way too long. And it's got to simulate slots because gambling. What? What do you mean it's not what you're looking for? I gave you way more than you wanted. And then Matt Strahm, contract decision. He has joined us. We got Matt Strahm for a season. The man has been absolutely phenomenal in this universe. Now he's going to be an Angel. Nick Mears. Interesting. Okay. 44 saves, my goodness. They're getting some solid ball out of Nick Mears here the past 2 seasons especially. And he wants to come here? Why not? Why not give him a deal? 2 years, though. How about we go 1 year? And then we'll give you 6.5. Why not? That's 93% motivation to sign. What do you say, David Bednar? Here we go. Time to simulate slots. Everybody get addicted to gambling, folks. FanDuel, DraftKings, it's all very cool. And he still snubs us. 3 years! Oh my god. They gave him that's the second reliever that the Reds have stolen from us. They took Evan Phillips, and they've got David Bednar now. That is crazy. And the Nick Mears? At least he signs with us. So we've got Nick Mears, and we've got Matt Strahm. And we've got Griffin Jacks. So that's 3 really solid relievers added to the mix here for this season. We now have too many players on our 40-man roster here. Unfortunately, we are at the point in the season where we can't trade these guys. Like, we can trade Allen, but we can't trade for guys who don't have contracts in place. So, like, we could theoretically trade Logan Allen, but it's not for somebody who's, like, waiting arbitration. Alrighty, so we're trading Logan Allen away to the Philadelphia Phillies. Logan Allen, sure, 29-year-old, starting pitching depth sort of player, 75 overall, see potential. He's okay, he's whatever, but he has no options. He has no spot on our roster, so we're going to trade him away and have him play for Philadelphia because for whatever reason, they need a 5th starter, and he is actually their 5th starter. He's better than Keaton Winn and Jonathan Diaz. Therefore, he is their 5th best starter on their roster. He will be in their rotation. And in return, because Logan Allen really doesn't have much value, I've gone around and looked for most stuff. Not many teams could use a starting pitcher of this level, and then also just doesn't have a lot of value, so we're going to be getting some controllable relievers who are on league, like they're on like minor league deals that we don't have to like add to our 40-man roster. One of them's a bit older, and Christian McGowan here, 7th round pick in 2021. Throws hard, 4-seam, 2-seam, slider, circle change. Maybe he could develop at some point. And then whatever this guy's name is, Taiwanese right-handed reliever, fastball, changeup, slider, sinker, repertoire. Another guy, 25 years old, could develop, who knows. Just getting some relievers in to add to the mix here. Logan Allen for these 2 guys. Edwin Diaz is now off the board, going to the Atlanta Braves on a 1-year deal for $22 million. Kyle McCann being offered a contract to be our backup catcher, has indeed signed it. Kyle McCann spent the last few seasons, or his whole big league career, his whole pro career with the Oakland A's. We got him on a 1-year, $2.85 million deal. He is our backup catcher. We've got him and Cooper Ingle now as our 3 catchers on the 40-man roster. McCann, we can't look at it from this page, but if I go forward from here and look at his page here, you can see some seriously good pop to his bat there, especially against right-handed pitching. Good discipline, good clutch, good enough defensively. He can also play some first base. And he hasn't ever played a ton in the big leagues, but you can see here, ignore 2026, but in 2027 and 2025, actually some decent OPS numbers in, limited plate appearances, but he's a backup catcher. Why not give him a shot? Give him and Cooper Ingle. He's got all 3 options as well. Why not? Why not have him on the 40-man? And since we signed Kyle McCann, we need that 3rd catcher on the 40-man roster. We now need to remove somebody off the 40-man, and Travis Blankenhorn is the odd man out simply because he has all 3 of his options used. We would have to pass him through waivers. Now, he may pass through waivers, but, he's a guy that, we might as well get something for him, so we're going to trade him to the Houston Astros simply because he's a 70 overall second baseman, and the Astros have not a great second baseman, so they could use the depth over at second base. We're going to give him to them, and then we're going to continue stacking relievers here as we get Luke McMahon, a 23-year-old, 66 overall reliever who has 99 velocity and 94 break, 80 K per 9. Why not take a shot on a guy like this? Could have some nasty stuff. Might as well add him to the organization. We have offered Joe Boyle to be a depth starting pitcher for us, and he has indeed signed a contract with us. So that means we need to remove somebody else from our 40-man roster because Joe Boyle here is going to needed to be added to it. Actually, never mind. It just didn't put him on the Major League roster for whatever reason. So Joe Boyle is actually not on the 40-man roster. Never mind. But Joe Boyle here, interesting enough as a depth option, obviously has some serious control issues, but nasty stuff, throws super hard, limits home runs, gets strikeouts, limits hits. Why not take a shot in the dark on him as like our depth AAA starting option? And we're also here doing the arbitration now. So Wenceel Perez, his arbitration panel sides with the Angels. He gets $5.8 million this season. Move things on to our next set. That is Edouard Julien. The panel sides with him. He gets $6.69. I forget exactly what we offered him. It was probably around that. Probably just got a little bit more than we were offering him. Quijada, he ends up getting 2.716. Sure, I didn't even offer him that because I'm pretty sure that's what the Rays offered him because we got him in the Rule 5. Not really sure how that works out considering he's a Rule 5 pick. And then we have Palacios and Victor Gonzalez today. Palacios side with him, he gets 7.7. Wow. And then Victor Gonzalez gets 1.5. So we will not be doing any more signings. We have $7 million available. Our salary for this season is $256 million. And we are set here for the 2028 campaign. And I forgot to show who Camilo Duvall eventually went to. He did indeed go to the Kansas City Royals. We are here at the start of spring training. Our 40-man roster is in place. We will decide who makes the 26-man roster. You will see that all in the next episode, but just to scroll through here, William Contreras, Shane McClanahan, Ben Joyce, Zach Neto, Griffin Jacks, Mike Trout, Caden Dana, Reed Detmers, Nolan Shawnuel, George Klassen, Brooks Lee, Brandon Lau, Andres Rivera, Ryan Johnson, Nick Mears, Edouard Julien, Chandler Simpson, Sam Bachman, Reggie Coffey, Hans Kraus, Matt Strom, Curtis Mead, Richie Palacios, Wenceel Perez, Jose Quijada, Kelvin Caceres, George Lombard, Christian Moore, Craig Yoho, Victor Gonzalez, Cooper Ingle, Alec Jacob, Hunter Bishop, Taylor Dollard, Cole Fontenelle, Brewer Hicklin, Kyle McCann, Robert Hassel, Kendry Martinez, and Gage Jump is our 40-man roster heading into this season. As always, ignore what their appearances and the numbers are for the new guys. We will be sorting all that out heading into the next episode. So with that being said, that's going to wrap things up here for this edition of the Angels in the Offseason. I've been your host, JerseyBorn, and I'm saying, we've got William Contreras!